Okay, welcome back, everybody. Commissioner Trask, you ready? Okay, welcome back. We just ended our closed session for labor discussions. We're going to now open back up with the State Auditor's Office and the exit conference. Tammy, are you leading or who's leading?
Amy will start and introduce us, and then we'll go ahead and we'll probably be doing a split presentation. Let me get my presentation up. Can you see that? Okay, great.
You can. All right. Well, thank you so much for the chance for us to be here today to share the results of the county's audit. My name is Amy Stralka. I'm the audit manager of the Port Orchard audit team. And then with me today is Tammy Lane, who was the lead for this year's audit. So again, really appreciate you letting us join your meeting and share these results. Before we get moving through the presentation, we do want to note that this is an overall summary of the audit results. So we provided a packet of information that includes full drafts of the reports we're going to be issuing and some other more detailed information. So as we move through the presentation, we'll be giving you all the key things you need to know, but also referencing you to that packet for more details. So next slide, please. Understanding the audit results is always very important to establishing and maintaining good government. This is true for multiple reasons. First of all, audits can really help build trust in your organization because they can let you know whether things are working or whether there's some areas that might need fine-tuning. And they can really shine a light on areas that are important to citizens, to external stakeholders, and to your own employees. The State Auditor's Office is an independent organization. We're responsible for auditing all the state and local governments in Washington, and as an agency, we conduct about 2,500 audits every year. Our audit reports get published on our website, and as such, they can be relied upon to provide transparent results directly to citizens. And then lastly, another important role of audits is their ability to identify areas where efficiency can be improved or where you can be more effective in complying with various requirements. And then on the flip side of that, they can also tell you where you're already working efficiently and effectively. So the goal of our presentation today is just to make sure you understand the results of your audit and give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have. So with that, I will turn it over to Tammy to talk about specifics.
Thank you, Amy. First, we'll go over the accountability audit results. An accountability audit is an audit that determines whether the county has followed state law, their own internal practices or policies, and if they're safeguarding the public resources. And so in the areas we reviewed, the county has complied with all material specs, the state laws, regulations, policies, and are safeguarding public resources. And that the results on that for those is in our accountability audit. And I'm going to go over a few of the specific areas that we looked at this year. So using our risk-based approach and planning, we covered these areas in our accountability audit. The first major area that we covered was payroll, and this is a significant system for the county. We looked at gross wages, retroactive payments, and leave cash outs along with electronic transfers. For the retro pay, we actually looked at 10 employees across 6 different departments, and including 30 additional from the sheriff's department. And we were looking to ensure that the retroactive payment was allowable, it was approved, it was supported with whatever support each department had, and then it was, of course, correctly calculated. And we found no exceptions. For leave buyouts, we looked at 6 different employees across 4 departments. We found those were allowable, supported, and calculated correctly as per policy. For gross pay, we tested 3 different types of gross pay, so hourly, salary, as well as the sheriff's department, because they're very different in how their schedules go. So we tested 16 employees in total across all of those areas, and we found that all gross pay was supported, calculated correctly, and of course was allowable. And so we found no exceptions in that as well. For accounts payable, we look at general disbursement, credit card transactions, and electronic funds transfer. We ensure that all of the transactions are supported, allowable, approved, and the process is completed as per the internal controls that the county has in place. We looked at 3.3 million in total disbursements, and we found no exceptions. We also looked at cash receipting, specifically in the Public Works Solid Waste Department. This was a finding in the prior audit, and we'll go over the results of that. But in our testing, we're looking to ensure that those controls have been corrected. And we actually tested 2 weeks in April of 23, 2 weeks in April of 24, and 2 weeks in June of 24 to get an overall good review of the corrections that had been made by the county. And we determined that all of the receipts were properly receipted, deposited, and recorded, as well as a full reconciliation was completed daily as well as monthly. We also reviewed cost allocation plans for equitable distribution, open public meetings, and financial condition, and we found no exceptions in any of these areas. So this was a clean audit with no recommendations in any of these areas. So as I discussed, there was a prior finding over the cash receipting at Public Works for the solid waste, and that has been fully corrected. And the specific actions that were taken by the county can be seen on page 8 of the packet. So for our financial statement audit, we are looking from January 2023 to December of 2023. And the objective of a financial statement audit is to issue an opinion as to whether the information included in the financial statements can be relied upon to make decisions. We are pleased to report that we are issuing an unmodified, clean audit opinion on the county's financial statements. This is the opinion you want to receive and provides assurance that the financial statements are fairly presented and are materially correct. It is also important to note that the county has elected to prepare their financial statements in the cash basis method of reporting as authorized under the state of Washington through the BARS manual. This method of reporting is utilized by the majority of local governments across the state due to its simplified reporting requirements and is allowable for use. However, national standards issued by the AICPA require that we disclose that the report is not in compliance with US GAAP. So there is the adverse opinion on GAAP within the audit report. Additionally, it's important to note that our audits are conducted in accordance with government auditing standards. Those standards also require that we gain an understanding of internal controls or the process that goes into preparing the financial statements for audit. Should we identify any weakness or concern with that process that results in significant errors in the financial statements, we would be required to bring those to your attention. We did identify a significant deficiency in preparation of part of the financial statements, and we will review this in a few slides. For your information, this is through the majority of this report is on page 13 through 39 of the packet. It's a large portion of the report. In relation to our financial statement audit, professional auditing standards also require that we share with you whether there are material or large misstatements that were identified and subsequently corrected by management. We are pleased to report that there were no material misstatements identified during the course of our audit. As part of our financial statement audit, we evaluate certain risks that we would like to share with you. Audit standards require auditors to evaluate whether there's a possibility that management may be able to circumvent certain controls. We are pleased to share with you that our evaluation showed no instances or possibility of where those controls were circumvented. So there is, as I discussed earlier, a financial statement finding. This is due to the fact that the CFA, so the Schedule of Expenditures of Federal Awards, was not correct when it was brought to us for audit. All corrections, though, have been made to the CFA, and so in our report, that has been disclosed, as well as in the finding, the county's response to this has been disclosed. So you can see this on page 18 of the exit packet, and then when we come back to audit, we will be reviewing to ensure that corrective action has been taken. So we do also perform federal grants compliance for single audit, and it's for the period noted on the slide. The objective of this audit is to ascertain whether the county materially complied with the requirements of receiving federal funds. We are pleased to report that we're issuing an unmodified, clean audit opinion on the county's compliance with federal grant programs. This is the opinion you want to receive, and it assures that the funds were expended in accordance with their intended purposes and all requirements have been largely followed. Oh, excuse me. In addition, it's important to note that our audits are conducted in accordance with uniform guidance. Those standards also require that we gain an understanding of controls or processes that go into ensure those compliance requirements are followed. Should we identify a weakness or concern, we would bring that we would bring the results to your attention. We did identify weaknesses that resulted in significant non-compliance, and we'll be reviewing that in a few slides. For your reference, the single audit report is part of the financial audit packet, so it's pages 13 through 39. So these are the major programs that were selected for audit. In ascertaining the requirement of auditing 40%, we identified these 3 programs, and the programs represent approximately 44% of the CFA in whole. We did identify a significant issue with the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds, or as some call it, ARPA or SLRFA grant, that we will go over next. The other 2 audit programs, so the Community Development Block Grants and the Emergency Solution Grants, there were no audit exceptions in those grants. Our single audit finding was over the federal grant compliance area that is suspension and debarment. With each of the grants, they have specific areas of compliance that we test for. Federal suspension and debarment is that the county will ensure that certain vendors or contractors do not receive federal funds if they are suspended or debarred. And so we identified that the county did not verify prior to letting a contract or paying a vendor that they were not suspended or debarred for 2 purchases in that program. We were able to confirm that the vendors were not actually suspended or debarred in the audit, so we're pleased to report that there's no question costs related to this. However, we're required to report this as a finding, as the requirement itself was not followed. The information is on page 21 of the packet, as well as the county response to this finding. Before I turn it over to Amy to go through some closing remarks, I'd like to thank all of the county staff, including Mark and Leo and Robin and Jennifer, for ensuring that we had all the documentation. We were able to finish the audit in a really timely fashion, and that's really appreciated for our end. And we were actually able to, I do believe, save some costs on the audit as well. And I'll let Amy go over that.
Thank you, Tammy. Yep, pleased to report audit costs are going to be quite a bit less than our original estimate. Next audit is going to be summer of 2025, same timing as this one, probably starting around June, and the same scope, 1 year accountability, financial statement, and federal program audit. There's an estimated cost for that audit in our exit packet. And then, as I mentioned before, the audit reports get published on our website. We have everything we need from you to be able to push publish on this report today. So I expect your reports will both publish on Monday the 26th. So keep an eye out for that. Leo will automatically get a notification when that report publishes, so you'll know for sure. And at the time the report publishes, you'll also get an audit survey link from us. And you can forward that to anyone else at the county that was part of the audit. We know it always takes a lot of people to make an audit happen. So anyone who is involved and would like to provide feedback, we always really appreciate that. One note regarding the reports as well, the financial and federal report needs to be uploaded to the federal clearinghouse so that the feds get the results of the audits. That website has changed since the last time that we did a single audit for you. So we'll get an advance copy of that report within the next few days and finish our side of the certification process. And then Leo, I'll send you an email letting you know when it's ready for you, and also some instructions for how to access that new platform. But the process is very similar to how it used to be. It's just a different website. So that is it for us on the presentation piece. But are there any questions from anyone or comments?
Commissioner, any questions?
Yeah, no questions. Just a comment. I want to thank you guys for doing the audit for us. Tammy, it's always a pleasure to see you. And want to thank our staff. Our staff is truly amazing. Say that a lot and brag to other commissioners or council members, but to hear it from you guys saying how amazing our staff is and how much you appreciate them, I appreciate those comments as well.
Leo, any questions?
No, I don't have anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. Mark? Okay. Amy, Tammy, thank you so much for coming in today and bringing us this presentation. Just know we appreciate you. If you don't mind, send a hello to Pat for me. Randy Neville and I served with her for quite a while. Pretty spectacular person. I'm very proud of her. And other than that, again, thank you to all of our staff. You guys do an incredible job. And we want to make sure we include Miss Byerly in that as well as everybody else. So thank you for everything. If there's nothing further, you two have an incredible day.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you.
All right, next up, I'm going to go ahead and move on to District Court. We're a little early. Judge Steele, are you on?
Yes, I am. Okay. This is more just an informational, give everybody a heads up. We're not asking anything today, but there are some things going on, as some of which you're probably already aware of, I would hope. The moving forward on Building 10. So we've attached information as far as the supplies we believe we're going to need to be able to move into that facility once it's completed. I do understand things are moving. I'm not sure when it'll be ready for the move, but we've attached that, so that you can get basically a heads up in advance. Our plan would be to take as much as we can out of the trial improvement funds to pay for it, but as I've indicated, we're not the only people who would have access to that fund. And the Superior Court's going to need some things as well. And my prediction, rough guesstimate, is there are probably about a $35,000 shortfall if we get what we need, and they get the JAV system they're going to need for LL2. The plan is we're working on right now is to let Superior Court take over LL2, because one thing it is lacking in this building is a facility large enough to assemble Superior Court jurors, from what I understand, particularly for larger trials, and that really means LL2 is going to be needed. In order to fill in the gap, as I've indicated, we've been in conversation with Judge Greer about using the calendar, using the municipal court when they're not using it, to hold some of our calendars down there. It should work out fairly well in one regard, because Judge Greer is our presiding pro tem judge. So my thought is calendars that he would normally be hearing would just be heard down there, which I think would work out for him and what have you. We've looked at it, and I have been in conversation with Judge Greer. He and I certainly have the ability to agree to allow each other to use our respective facilities. We've done that in the past. One of the reasons we were able to get started as soon as we did, which is pretty much right after the Supreme Court said we could to restart jury trials, is because we were able to hold the trial portion of the trial. When I mean that, I'm talking about the evidentiary portion after we select the jury in the municipal court, courtroom, which we did until Building 10 opened up. However, there are going to be issues concerning insurance and also security, that I do not see those as judicial branch functions. And so I've already communicated, and I believe Judge Greer has done likewise, to basically have the executive branch of our respective entities to start talking to see if those can be worked out. If they can't, then we'll need to find some other alternative. So that's what's going on as far as a move to Building 10. What Superior Court's going to be asking for is to replace the old FTR reporting system in LL2, which I can't say I blame for wanting to do that. So that's what's going on with as far as a move to Building 10 at this point. Additionally, it's not something we've decided, but there's a statewide project, a courts of limited jurisdiction, to switch over our case management systems to from JIS to Enterprise Justice for running our court systems. GIS is a very old system. It's actually a DOS run system. Maybe the only one leftist people are still using, as far as I know. But we're scheduled probably sometime next spring to start being transitioned onto that system. And there are going to be some items that we're going to need for that as well. For example, our scanners that we currently have, the Fujitsu scan snaps won't work on that system for whatever reason. Patsy's been in contact with people running the project on a statewide level. I believe she's also been in contact with our IT individuals to go through a list of what we're going to need. So essentially what we've done is we just want to give you a heads up. This is coming down the pike. I would rather do it this way than all of a sudden when the time comes say, oh, by the way, we need this, so that you know that we're going to be making a request at some point. Depending on when the remodel is completed, and my understanding is it's going out to bid at this point, then there's at least a outside chance this could be done before the end of the year. But Patsy's determined that we need about a 6 to 8 week lead time as far as getting the stuff ordered to have it here ready to be installed. So And if you have further questions and more details, she's here. So I'll put the spotlight on her if you have questions about any specifics that we have. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted to give you a heads up what's going on this end.
Commissioner Trask, do you have anything?
Maybe if I could unmute myself. Mark, can you tell me when the RFP or is going out for the completion of building 10?
Yep, so it's going to be going out this week. So advertising starts this week. We'll probably have a walkthrough. I'm thinking beginning of September. I'm kind of coordinating that with Kelly Frazier, and I'll do the same with District Court in terms of setting a specific date. So contractors can walk through the facility. The areas that they're walking through is mostly unoccupied areas. So I feel like it should be fairly easy to work with them on that. We would keep the bid open for at least a month for bidders to come in. Once we receive the bids, we'll evaluate them and come up with an apparently successful bidder. Then we're going to give them about 60 days to actually purchase all the supplies that they'll need to do the work. So I'm thinking October, November timeframe, probably begin construction in December. When they begin construction, it's going to be a 90-day period. So that would be December, January, February. Thinking about taking the building back over in March.
All right. Mark, do you have any questions regarding the presentation the judges put forward?
I don't. I spoke with Mark Ziegler from the city of Shelton last week, and he is fine working with us on that. I did also talk to our risk manager, and Nicole recommended that we do an interlocal agreement for these services. So I didn't realize that Judge Greer would probably be just holding court in his own courtroom down at the municipal court. That sure makes it a lot easier. So I think it should be fairly easy just to document the shared space that we're going to have, and if there's any insurance that we need to cover while he's working as a pro tem, then make sure we'll get that included.
Excellent. All right, Commissioner Trask, anything else?
Yeah, so when during the construction, nobody will be using the building, right? Building 10?
Correct.
It'd be easier for
our facility staff would probably be in there, but
Right.
they may also be doing some construction work.
Right, because it'll be a lot easier with just them in there. They can probably work a lot faster.
That's my hope. So I really want to avoid impacting the contractor's schedule at all, because as we've learned in previous portions of this project, that can get costly very quickly. So I'm hopeful that if we can give the building over to them per period of 90 days, that they can get the work done, and then we'll take it back.
Okay.
So we did have some meetings. Kelly Frazier and I had some meetings with District Court and Superior Court. They outlined their needs for that transition. Judge Steele has obviously worked with the city to coordinate potentially utilizing the municipal court area, and Superior Court is making some changes to the courtroom that'll be permanent changes for the future, right? So my concern is always, as we tend to identify real estate excise tax as this funds that pay for this type of work. So once building 10 is done, I'm sure that Superior Court is going to have some requests for us to modify the courthouse. Nice part about that is I'm hopeful we'll have a grant writer on by that time, and I think there is some grant money out there for historical buildings, and so maybe we can utilize some of those resources to make some improvements or modifications to the courthouse to accommodate the clerk and Superior Court, who will remain in the courthouse.
Yeah, just a reminder, make sure that we remove that temporary blockage of that door when we do for the clerk's office for safety.
Oh yeah. I think it'd definitely open up some space for both.
Okay, anything further for the judge?
No,
All
if
right.
I have anything, I'll reach out to him and bend his ear. These are Patsy's.
Thank you very much,
All
Your
right.
Honor. Thank you, Patsy.
Thank
Have a
you.
great-
Thank you.
All right.
Have a good day, everybody.
Good day.
You too.
Next up, I have Sheriff's Office Chief Kevin Hanson.
Hold on. All right, I'm there. How you guys doing today?
Incredible.
Good. Nice day out there. Okay, so this is just one of our updated briefings on our outsourcing project and our staffing crisis. And it's been a couple months since I give you an update, so we felt that it was appropriate. I'm hoping that with the agenda that you saw a spreadsheet was attached to it that outlines the amount of days that the ADP, the money we spent, the total days we spent, and the average staff that we've had on shift. You guys all see the copy of that?
Yep.
Okay, good.
All right. Hey, Kevin.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chief Hanson, can you remind us what ADP stands for?
Average daily population. Yep.
Thank you.
So you'll see that we are running in the 60s total population of inmates under our control, well, under Mason County's control, counting Nisqually's. And we are still struggling with trying to hire people. We have 4 people that are literally in backgrounds with Thurston County right now as lateral applicants. And then we have 1 waiting the academy. And then we have 5 on the entry level list. And we're waiting for information from them, and we're in the process of scheduling those interviews. So, and then the other thing I wanted to also remind you guys is that, when we started outsourcing, we reduced our minimum staff, the required amount of people that had to be on shift here in the jail, from 4 to 3. And we're still running at that 3 number. So sometimes it becomes kind of difficult to run the business over here with 3 people on day shift, especially on a Monday, but we're surviving, we're getting through it. And I was hoping that we would be done with this by August, but I don't know what the answer is. We got to get people hired, and I don't know.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's a statewide problem. Everybody's competing for those that do want to work. It's not a glamour job,
Yeah.
but it's definitely it takes a special person, I guess, to fit that mold.
Yeah, for sure. And I just also want to remind you guys that we have not had booking restrictions on. There's been a couple days in the last month that Lieutenant and I have authorized booking restrictions just because of a hospital run or something that unusual that happened, that we didn't have any staff. So, but that's just been a 12-hour shift and then it goes off. So we're pretty much booking anybody. And and that's, I think, the way you see our numbers up a little bit combined. And I'm pretty certain that's what you guys, the direction that you guys gave us here a few months ago. So we continue to move forward with that.
Yeah, appreciate that change. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for the chief? Mark, anything? All right. I'm utilizing you because Kevin's not here, so you're my third leg. All right. With that, I thank you very much, Chief. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Thanks a lot, and thanks for your support. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks, Chief.
Yeah.
So next up, we have Public Works, Loretta.
Morning.
Morning.
I'm going to hand it off to Mike. He has a couple of action item requests this morning.
Morning, Commissioners. RCW requires us to prepare an annual construction report and a 6-year transportation program yearly. And so we have this set up before you. I would like to say a little bit about the annual construction report. Its 2025 expenditures are planned to be about $8 million. That includes about $2.65 million of the road fund and about $5.6 million of grant funds. County forces will be used for a lot of these projects. We're up to estimating about 1.25 million, which is within the limits. What we're asking the board to do today is to schedule, to put it on the agenda to schedule 2 public hearings, one for the 2025 annual construction program and one for the 2025, 2030 annual, 6-year transportation program.
Okay, I'm okay with putting that on the agenda so we can move forward. Commissioner Trask?
Yep, sounds great.
Okay, what else you got?
Commissioners, can I jump in for a moment, please?
Yep.
Would it be okay
your
to
time.
share a map with you that is a link in the ad?
Please.
Yeah. I'm kind of excited about this. So Adam Mariner in our GIS department, with assistance with Mike and his team, put together a map. And all these little tabs represent all of the projects that are in our 6-year tip. And you can either click directly on one of the items and it will jump you to the project description. Green tells you what year we are planning to construct the project in, or the symbol tells you. So here you see in 2025, we're planning this project. And then this will just give you kind of some aerial imagery of where the project's located. Here are the details about project funding and an action photo of what the plan is to upgrade there. And so just kind of excited to share this with commissioners, and definitely look for some feedback if there are ways to make this more navigable or useful in how we present the information, but looking for other ways to get the word out about what our plan is for improvements over the next 6 years.
Send us that link, please.
Absolutely. It is in the hearing notice as well, so the public will have that.
But I mean, just send it to us direct if you don't mind.
Yep, will do.
All right, what else you got for us?
The other item, commissioners, is an interlocal agreement with Fire District 12. And we're asking for approval and authorization for the chair to execute the interlocal agreement.
Any questions, Commissioner Trask?
None at all.
Let's make it happen, Loretta.
Okay, and that's all we have, commissioners.
Okay, I left you a message. I don't know if you received it. Matlock Road.
Yep.
So when I was out there, they're right. They have trucks that are just blaring through there right now, and school's about to start. I don't know if you have to go to the sheriff's department. Have we got ours back up and running again, or?
I did follow up with the sheriff's department and requested a yes, their assistance out there.
Okay.
And
Could you let
emphasis
me-
control.
Yeah, could you let me know when we have that speed sensor and stuff happening out there, please?
Yep. Yeah, and the sheriff's department also, their speed sensors are not, I think one was vandalized, and I may get this wrong. And then the other is being utilized downtown, as you're aware.
Yep.
Yep.
And
And then Mike, I'm not sure where all ours are. I think we've got ours up at Toonerville. And I'm not sure where else we're deployed right now.
how many of them are still under repairs? Because you were saying that you had issues there too.
We did.
Are they all up and running now?
I don't know at this time, but we can get, are we talking about the Merriam Night School?
Yes.
Yep, we can get something set up when school start.
The 27th or something. It starts a lot earlier than I thought.
Yep.
So we need to get it out there ASAP before to slow those trucks down before the kids start showing up.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't
And
know
that
if it'll
was-
slow them down, but it'll show them how fast they're going.
Yeah, that's funny. Most people want to be honest, and it does have an effect for a while. I just found it doesn't have an effect forever. That's all.
They do have their own flashing system there too, so.
Yeah. But anything that would help, while I was there, the guy was telling me, and a truck full of logs was zooming by at about 80. I'm like, holy moly. Believe me, when you're standing on the side of the road, one of those trucks fully loaded goes by, you feel it. Okay, so Commissioner Trask, do you have anything?
Yeah, just real quick, I wanted to thank you for that link. And I encourage people to go into our packet, click on that link and go, it'll take you right to the map. That is That is a cool map. So whoever put that together, thank them, because it works perfectly. I wanted to let you know that I appreciate that. I don't have anything other than give me an update when you can regarding the railroad on call.
Yep.
Oh.
It's still on our list. We're right now using our county forces. We just started Tunerville Culvert, and that'll be about 2 weeks worth of work. And after that, we're getting the milling machine back, and we'll be doing some milling in September here.
Sounds like an exciting time. So appreciate you guys too.
Very.
On your map, you ought to show where we have something current going on with the red one. Our people are everywhere. Nobody knows how much we're doing ourselves now instead of just contracting everything out. Pretty impressive. Okay, thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Mark, you're up.
Thank you, Commissioner. I got John Taylor first to talk about Latimer's Landing.
Hi, John.
I thought I had John.
No,
I
he's
don't
coming.
see John.
Yes, I'm here. I'm trying to
Oh,
keep
there
my
he is.
camera on. Sorry, there I am. Yes, sir. What I'm presenting to you today is a message or a article to go out on Latimer's Landing, talking about the repairs that will be done out there, the time date. We don't have it totally tied down yet, but what we didn't want to do is leave it to the last minute. So we wanted to be able to get it out there. We've also got signs posted at Latimer's Landing talking about the dates as well. So we're trying to get as much messaging out there as we can so that people can know what dates they may need to make adjustments for using that landing when it's under repairs, both for the parking lot and the float system. So that's what we're asking for you to approve today, so we can get that out, which will be the second layer of our messaging. The first was the posters we've already put out. This will be the second, and then once we get a closer date, we'll continue to send those messages out.
Are you going to be here to read it for us?
Sure. Did you want me to read it to you? Yes, sir.
Yeah, No, not now.
During the meeting. Yep.
During the
Yes,
meeting,
absolutely.
I always prefer, and Commissioner Trask has made it a point that we like to have people there and see their faces, and I agree with her. So if you don't
Yes,
mind,
sir. I will be there to read it.
Thank you.
And that
Right.
is like we just heard from Mike, part of that is the milling machine that they're going to get in September. So Public Works is going to actually do some of the repairs in the parking lot area of that boat launch. So
Good. Saving money.
it
Yes, sir,
actually
that's all I
is.
have.
I'm excited to see us do the work there, and I feel like it's something that we can kind of put on a maintenance schedule. No matter what we put down there, I think the salt water would eat it away and cause it to kind of delaminate, and so I think having our public works crews go out there and do some chip seal and some work on a routine basis would probably keep it functional and at a reasonable cost. So super excited about that. And this is also the repair to the float is quite a bit less than we talked about. I think in the past, John and Diane were here to discuss with the commissioners, and we saw it on a capital facilities plan that number was, $600,000-700,000. And when we actually met with some dock experts, they recommended making this change for quite a bit less, which is exciting. So thank you, John and Diane, for all the work that you did on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
All
next
right.
item is, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, what else you got? That's what I was going to say.
Kenzie.
Hey, good morning, Commissioners. The first item I have is a news release for the Timberland Regional Library Board of Trustees. Dr. Ken Sebi is not going to be seeking reappointment for next year, so the term will be from January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2031.
Okay.
And he's gonna be missed.
The second item is a request from Thurston County. They're hoping to appoint Ashley Lee Brooks to the Timberland Regional Library Board of Trustees. So they were hoping that we would be willing to send a letter of concurrence.
You good with that, Commissioner Trask?
Yep.
Okay. You got two. What else you got?
That's all I have.
Thank you.
We got Becky next to talk about Board of Equalization.
Hi, Becky.
Okay, good morning. So yes, an application has come in and I'm bringing this forward to the county commissioners for consideration. Christopher Clifford has expressed an interest to serve on the Board of Equalization. So just asking that the board consider this applicant.
Yeah, if we could get it on an agenda in the future for interview, it'd be appreciated. Are you
Okay.
good with that, Commissioner Trask?
Yep, very good.
How many positions do we have open?
We currently have 2 regular members, and so we need a third member, and then we could use another alternate on the board to fill in when board members have an appointment away and we need someone else to fill in, like if someone's on a doctor's appointment, medical leave or something.
Okay. I had somebody ask me about it the other day, so I'll get them to apply right away. And
That's good.
okay. All right.
I'll meet with McKinsey to see what I can do to help get that going.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there a requirement to be a resident of Mason County on this or just own property for Board of Equalization? Do you know that, Becky?
Off the top of my head, I would believe that they need to be a resident of Mason County. But I would have to actually go and look. I know civil service is, but yes, I'm not,
Okay.
I'll check that one out.
Let's look at that and then we can get that information to the commissioners before we set up an interview with Christopher.
Okay.
Is he not a resident?
I don't know. It just was interesting to me, some of the where they currently work, and so I didn't know if they were commuting there on a daily basis or if they were still working or.
Well, and then the statement out there, I own property in Mason County. That is so yeah, let's find out about that, please.
Yeah, and it definitely something that we can ask when Christopher comes in and meets with us. So
yeah. All right. Jennifer.
Okay.
Thank you. Jen, you're up.
Good morning. I have the July financials, so I'll share my screen. Beginning on page 2 of the financials packet is the current expense revenue. Through July, we've collected $27,306,000 compared to last year at this time. We had received $26,646,000. We're at 61% of our budgeted revenue this year compared to 62% last year. The benchmark is 58.3. So looking pretty solid there. On the treasurer's revenue detail, pages 3 and 4, we have received through July of this year in the treasurer's department or treasurer's office, $18,498,000. Compared to last year, we had received $17,245,000. We're at 63% of our budgeted revenue in the treasurer's office this year compared to 61% last year. So again, looking very solid in the specific treasurer's office revenues. For expenditures in current expense, we have expended through July of this year $26,756,000 compared to last year $25,158,000. We're at 51% of our budget spent this year compared to 52% last year. I wanted to point out that indigent defense is at 76% of their budget. They're definitely going to need a budget amendment this year.
But you're already on that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching it. I mean, we're
when's our next one?
Our next one is in December. That's the next scheduled one.
Okay.
I mean, we could do one before then, but I mean, we're already close to September and it takes 6 weeks to get one done. So we might as well just stick with December at this point, in my opinion. Moving on to the special funds, we have almost everything that we have on this sheet is up over last year. The community development revenue is up consistently over the previous 5 years. That does include the ARPA transfer, which inflates that number a little bit, but even taking that out, we're still up quite a bit over last year. Most of everything is up. The REIT even is up over last year, so that's good. Any questions on the sheet?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay, moving on to the sales tax. We received in July 860,000, which was an increase of about 51,000 over the previous year. So we've consistently been receiving more than the same month in last year. So that's really nice to see. We've collected so far through July 5,400,000, and we're projected to receive over 9.7 million if we receive exactly what we did last year in August through December. So that's looking really good. We put in the budget for 25, 9.5 million right now, which, you know, this year we put in 9.2 million. So we're still, you know, looking up on that. So that's really nice to report on. For the 6-year financial recap, we have in cash in the general fund at the end of July, 28,176,000, and you can see our reserves here. For the recap on the general fund, the revenue, we're at 61% of our budgeted revenue and 51% of our budgeted expenditures, and that's looking very consistent with the previous 5 years on both revenue and expenses. The cash balances in the general fund are shown here, and we are at a total of 64,832,000 at the end of July. So that's been increasing overall for our special funds over the previous 5 years. For motor pool, we're at 45.7% of our budgeted expenditures. We've expended through July 885,000, and the benchmark again is 58.3%. And again, we haven't had a lot of our vehicles come in yet, so we'll start to see that number come up, I would think, as our vehicles come in. For the special fund revenues, we have collected through July 36,207,000 compared to last year at the same time, 34,039,000. We're at 56% of our budgeted revenue this year, compared to last year was also 56%, which is very unusual since the special funds are not as consistent of revenue and expenditure, you know, collections and expenses like the general fund is. On the expenses or expenditures for the special funds, we've expended 29,510,000 this year compared to last year, 27,763,000. We're at 39% of our budgeted expenditures this year compared to 36% last year. For the county debt, at the end of July, we have a total debt of 15,700,000. Our remaining non-voted debt capacity is 107,000 roughly, and our total remaining debt capacity is about 203,000. So we utilize very little of our debt capacity, which is great. Any questions or comments on any of this?
Nope. Well done again.
Thank you. I start to worry that I lose you guys because it's so quiet sometimes.
Actually, and the reason why is, of course, I'm sitting reading it as you're doing it too, and I want you to know that every single time you do it, I take it out of the book and I keep this one out of the book so that I have it whenever I need to look at it. That's how much I appreciate how you've put this together over the years. And I mean, you'll see it's always taken out and kept separate so I can keep track on a regular basis. So no, very much appreciated. So the quiet is because I'm actually following everything you're saying.
Well, great. I'm glad that it's useful. Thank you. The next thing that I have is the Skokomish flood zone. I got a request from Public Works, and we actually got this request last year or the year before. I don't remember when, but at least a year ago, to delete Fund 192, the Skokomish flood zone, with the 2025 budget. They don't have a revenue source anymore. That fund used to have a levy, and it no longer does. And so the only revenue it ever receives is from the Mason Conservation District, I believe, or revenue that it's receiving from the road fund, which we would consolidate this fund into road. And so it would just, if it had any revenue, it would be receipted into road, and expenditures would come out of road. So basically the fund doesn't really have a purpose that couldn't be done in road anymore. So we're asking to delete it in the 25 budget. Any cash remaining, which I think there's about 30,000 remaining in this fund, would be rolled over into road if this is approved.
I'm absolutely uncomfortable and sad by the whole process. But with that being said, the advice to have it moved is the accurate and best advice. So I am supportive.
As am I.
There you go. Thank you for that, Jennifer. And thank you guys for help keeping us in line.
Okay, thank you. That's all that I have.
Okay, our next item is a request that I have for you. I was contacted by PUD number 3. They're getting ready to prepare their application for BEAD funds. So big money here. So $1.2 billion is going to be going out to push broadband out to areas where they don't have broadband. And if you remember, WSU Extension worked on a BAT team, broadband access team, which really, I attended a few of those meetings with Commissioner Schutte, and super technical, super detailed, getting into here's where our infrastructure for broadband exists, here's the speeds associated with it. And the intent behind that is to really identify areas that we can expand broadband into, where we can impact the most amount of people that are underserved. So on that BAT team, it included PUD 3. I think that HCC also participated in those meetings. And I can't remember if Xfinity did, but I believe those two for sure were included in those meetings that I was on. What this is that the legislature actually gave the Department of Commerce about $900,000. And what this money is to help counties and our partnering institutions get ready to prepare these applications. So PUD, it's actually being administered by the State Association of Counties. So each county is kind of set up to receive between $20,000 and $50,000. This application is due August 23rd, so it's actually later this week. And I'm asking the commissioners to give me authority to make this application. We would get money from the Department of Commerce, and that money would then be passed on to PUD 3 or other entities that need to do some work to get their application ready for the 1.2 billion number, and getting funds to expand broadband access in Mason County.
I'm supportive. Commissioner Trask?
Oh, absolutely. And it's kind of interesting too, because on the Public Works Board, we kind of do this as well. But Axel with WASAC can answer any questions. There's a test that you can go on, and I'm not sure where, I was looking for the link, but there's a test that you can do to see what your broadband speed is.
Mm-hmm.
And it for some people it might be an eye-opener, other people will go, well, duh. And so It's kind of fun to go on there and check your broadband speed. We just got fiber to our house, and talk about a difference. And it makes life so much better for my grandkids because, you know, they live with us, and so their school or whatever functions they have, Ted works from home, so this is a benefit for all of our folks in Mason County for those that can get it.
Yeah, we've actually also, that BAT team created some pretty intricate maps of Mason County, really identifying those areas, and where infrastructure currently exists, and you know what's the speeds that they're able to get. And so it's pretty interesting to take a look at that. But super excited that PUD3 is moving forward and asking for some of these BEAD, eventually going to be applying for some of this BEAD money. Absolutely get that out to folks that are in rural areas, that otherwise would have to pay for it themselves to be extended out there, which is why it doesn't exist now.
Yeah, and I know that Justin and Barbara are both involved in this from
Yeah.
PUD3. They're great.
Yep, I've been working with Barbara, so I will work with Barbara to get that application put together, and we'll send it out, and then we would administer it. So Jen and her team would help me administer that, and developing contracts with them to kind of talk about, here's the type of work. It really is specifically identified for the administrative costs associated with putting together the application. And so I think it's great that there's that the legislature appropriated some money to help counties and some of our partnering jurisdictions to put together a good application for this. So
yeah, this is absolutely foundational. So what else you got for us?
The next item I have for you is the 2024-25 SEDS list, and we received this from Mason County EDC. And this is the preliminary SEDS list that they compiled all the information from the different entities that provided it to them. So you can see the stuff that has been deleted or taken off, maybe completed, and then the items that have been added. And obviously this list is used for identifying projects that we sometimes fund through, like the rural sales and use tax 0.09 funds. If somebody were to ask for money through those funds, then that project would have to be listed on the SEDS list.
My glasses are not powerful enough for this list.
I apologize.
That's why I like seeing it on the computer, because you can make it grow.
You can make it grow. Yep.
And I think it's neat to see that this year they've added another category or another column, and it's area of county. Because lots of times we were like, well, where is this? You know, where's this project located? And so this year they did add that. I appreciate that a lot.
Okay, what else you got?
So that's all I had for you on the actual agenda. I did want to give Mary an opportunity to update you on some contract negotiations he's been working with.
Hi, Mary.
I had a labor status update, but I didn't do an official briefing. There wasn't really enough for that. But I wanted to just give you an update that we have worked with the corrections union, and we have a date set for August 29th to meet again. We did receive a refiling by the union to open negotiations mediation through a process that doesn't really apply to public sector. So we're working through that with them as well. It was a little confusing. We're still 4 months from expiration. And so mediation is probably not going to be the best path forward at this time, because we're still meeting and able to communicate and doing all those things. So a little confused about that, but we'll be meeting with them August 29th and are really, really looking forward to getting some things moving forward, if at all possible.
Well, from myself, a little apology to our staff. Just know that we're trying our best to do it. And I know my staff on this side here, Mary, and you're exceptional. And the stuff you're trying to do, you can only do so much. And just know that you're appreciated, Mary, and all of your HR staff. You're doing the best you can, but we just need help from the other side so we can try and take care of these people. But keep punching. Eventually, it'll all come together for them and us. All right, what else you got?
That's all I had for you.
Commissioner, do you have any discussion or comments or questions?
I don't. I don't really have any calendar updates either. This afternoon is the canvassing board and tomorrow is certification of the election.
Thank you for doing that. For those that don't know, I'm on the ballot, so I can't be there. I'm supposed to as the chair, but Commissioner Trask has stepped up to do it in my stead. So thank you very much for doing that, Commissioner. I have no calendar update either, so I guess I will entertain a motion.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll second. Hearing no objection, we are adjourned. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you.